So look at us. Ever since 2015 when Trudeau walked in with that nice little hair, Canada has been sliding downhill and we're not allowed to talk about it. We went from affordable groceries to now choosing between buying your groceries and rent. We went from the shortest waits in the G7 to people dying in the waiting rooms and hallways, or just going home and dying. And that is not talking about MAID yet. We went from a housing market where young people could still buy their dream home to a country where your kid will never be able to buy a home unless you die first. We went from sunny ways to catch and release crime and car theft epidemics, murders that are still walking our streets today, even though they were denied asylum in 2018. We went from balanced immigration to 5 million expired visas and 500,000 new arrivals every year, with 0 new hospitals, 0 new family doctors, and 0 new homes to put them in. We went from pride in our veterans to them sleeping on sidewalks while we send another $15 billion to Ukraine. We went from free speech to a government that wants to censor potential hate before you even post it. And anytime any one of us point this out, we get the same old song. Racist, xenophobic, far-right conspiracy theory Nazi. They don't argue numbers. They just slap a label on it and walk away. And that's the trick. I'm done with it. I'm not racist for wanting my hospital to have beds. I'm not xenophobic for wanting criminals deported. I'm not a Nazi for wanting my kids to be able to afford food and rent. I'm just a Canadian who's tired of pretending everything's fine when our country is clearly falling apart. And if that makes me a bad person in 2026, well then so be it. At least some of us are still talking while the rest of you are silent. So please, speak up before they make it illegal.
Congratulations to Canada on officially becoming the food inflation capital of the G7. The new food inflation data released this morning for December puts Canada at the top of the G7 for the food inflation, meaning it's above Japan, United Kingdom, it's double the food inflation in the United States, and of course well above Italy and France. So how do we get here? For a country that has the second largest landmass in the world, I am currently, for example, in Barbados. Food is expensive here. That's because it's an island. Everything needs to be imported here. Just to put that into context, weekly groceries in Canada over the past decade have more than doubled. They used to be about $160 a week 10 years ago. Now they're $350 a week. And as this X account eloquently puts it, the problem is structural, a rigid system weighted down by policy choices and limited flexibility. Which is why, according to the Canada CPI index, all items versus food, all items is the blue, food is in yellow. Clearly, as you can see, the food inflation has been greatly outpacing the rest of the items inflation rate in Canada. What are your thoughts on this? For a country as large and as resource rich as Canada, this is an absolute disaster.